Kershaw, I think he's going to come back probably August or September, make 5 or 6 starts. But what I think the Dodgers should do once it comes postseason time is keep Kershaw away from being a starter. Bobby Witt Jr. to an 11-year, $288 million contract. Trevor Bauer. So he's been making his rounds in the podcast world these last 2 weeks. He was on the PBD podcast. He was with Theo Vaughn on this past weekend. He's going to be on the Full Count podcast next week. Chris asked, is there any hope for a rebuild for the Padres? Or is it just dark days ahead with no real leaders? Or should everyone just convert to a Dodger fan?
I feel like everybody just became a Dodgers fan. Would there be any pride or glory in being a Dodgers fan anymore? Would that ruin everything?
The Full Count. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Full Count podcast. This is Sway. We have some baseball stuff to talk about tonight. So, big news out of LA. Clayton Kershaw has agreed to come back on a 2-year, $10 million deal. The deal could be worth as much as $25 million if he hits all of his accelerators. So, as Dodger fans, you may remember the last 3 off seasons have been kind of weird as the season ended and we didn't know whether Kershaw was going to return, whether he was going to retire, or sign with the Texas Rangers. This deal all but guarantees that Kershaw's going to end his career as a Dodger. He's not going to put on another uniform, which is pretty cool as you don't see players stay with one team for the entire career. So congrats on Kershaw coming back. But the thing about this deal, it's different than the other years. It's not about the money, as he could have gone to any other team, secured a 2-year deal for $40 million, but he came back with a hometown discount. And it seems like this is more personal. This is more, hey, I want to prove everybody wrong. I want to come in and get revenge. I want to get redemption. There's no way that he wanted his career to end in that game 3 of the NLDS against the Diamondbacks, where he was just getting shell shocked. What he last one, he had 6 earned runs, 1 out. He doesn't want to go out that way. He wants to prove that there's more in the tank. He wants to prove that that was an anomaly, that the postseason curse of Kershaw is going to be broken real soon. So as Dodger fans, what can we expect from Kershaw here in 2024? He's coming off major shoulder surgery. He's not due back till July, August, or who knows if he's even going to come back. I think our expectations could be a little tempered here. So here's my take, and here's what I think is going to happen or should happen. So Kershaw, I think he's going to come back probably August or September, make 5 or 6 starts. But what I think the Dodgers should do once it comes postseason time is keep Kershaw away from being a starter. I don't know what it is. It can't be physical. We can't have. There's not a player that's that dominant during the regular season, their whole career. 10 All-Star appearances, 3 Cy Youngs, an MVP, multiple ERA titles, and then just shits the bed in the postseason. I can say that. I'm a Dodger fan. It's true. We have high hopes coming in every season, and for some reason, we always find a way to lose. Kershaw always seems to be the one that has the meltdown. I think it's not a physical thing anymore. I think it's a mental thing, and I think he's too much in his head. So if we have a complete mind shift here, and instead of having Kershaw be a starter in the postseason, have him come out of the pen. There's a lot less nerves, a lot less adrenaline. I think that coming out of the pen will do a lot better. Plus, if our rotation stays healthy, we have a stacked rotation. He can come in and just help. So just imagine this dream scenario, right? It's game 6 of the 2024 World Series. The Dodgers are 3 outs away from closing it out for another championship. And who's going to come out? Evan Phillips? Nope. Gratterall? Nope. It's going to be Clayton Kershaw to get those last 3 outs. So just imagine this. Hey, first batter comes up, strikeout. Second batter comes up, maybe a fly out. Last batter, who knows what it is? Hey, let's just say it's going to shortstop the first, get the 3rd out. Kershaw getting that 3rd out would be one of the biggest moments in Dodger history. It'll cement his legacy. It'll give him the opportunity to fight those demons, to overcome that postseason stigma. And just imagine that scene, that picture, that'll probably be a statue outside of Dodger Stadium. So this is why I think it's best for him to come out of the pen instead of being a starter. It's going to change everything for Clayton Kershaw. It's going to change everything for the Dodgers. I think this is a good deal for the Dodgers, as it's a very, very low risk, high reward, and they bring back one of their all-time favorite players, one of the fan favorites of all time for the Dodgers. I think it's a win-win situation. And like I was saying, it's not about money. It's Kershaw's redemption revenge tour. You guys let me know what you think in the comments, especially Dodger fans. Let me see what you think. So another story that's been unfolding this offseason, which I feel hasn't got the attention that it deserves, is everything that the Kansas City Royals have been doing to finally start competing. So they just gave out their biggest contract in team history by extending Bobby Witt Jr. to an 11-year, $288 million contract. And for those that don't know who Bobby Witt Jr. is, I don't blame you, as he plays for the Royals. Very small market team. He doesn't get the attention that he deserves, but he's one of the more talented and exciting young players of the league. He's quickly becoming the face of that franchise. And I think it was extremely smart of the Royals to try to build around Bobby Witt Jr. I think they're on the verge of turning that franchise around. They also brought in some pretty good players. I'll name a few here. They brought on Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo, Hunter Renfroe, Adam Frazier, and Will Smith. So they're doing absolutely everything they can to start competing. And by I mean competing, they do play in the AL Central, which is by far the worst division in baseball. So you don't even have to be that great of a team to do a lot in that division. And I'll give you some examples. So last year, the Minnesota Twins won that division. They were only 12 games above 500. They won that division by 9 games. So you don't have to do much when it comes to competing in that division. The thing is, all you have to do is get into the postseason, and you don't know what can happen. We've seen in recent years, last year's World Series matchup was 2 wildcard teams, the Rangers and the Diamondbacks. There's other wildcard teams that have recently won the World Series as well. The Nationals in 2019, the Giants a few years ago. So the Royals just are doing all the right things to put themselves in a position to completely turn around the fortunes of this franchise. In the last 30 years, they've had 2 good seasons, which is kind of sad. They're completely under the shadow of the Kansas City Chiefs right now. The Chiefs are winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl, although nobody wants to see them win another one, right? I think this is going to change the fortunes of the Kansas City Royals for the foreseeable future. Building around Bobby Witt Jr., this could make the Royals a more of a destination team instead of a stepping stone team. So as you know, the Royals have been kind of stingy. They never give extensions, with the exception of Salvador Perez. They let Mike Moustakas walk. They let Hosmer walk, and they were former faces of the franchise, brought a World Series, but they chose to leave. I think this is going to be one of those things where, hey, more players are going to want to come to a small market team if they're going to win. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm very, very bullish on the Royals. I'm all in. I'm predicting them to win the AL Central by 7 games here. Well, we'll check back on this in a few months and see if I'm right. But I expect the Royals to shock the world. I don't think they're going to go to the World Series, but I think an ALCS is in the cards, if not in 2024, maybe 2025. Once again, hey, tell me if you think I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. We could fight about it a little bit, but let me know what you think about the Kansas City Royals' fortunes from 2024 on to the foreseeable future. We touched on whether Yasiel Puig deserves another shot in the league. There's another player out there without a contract in hand as we speak that's 1,000 times more deserving than Puig. And this is going to be pretty controversial, but that's Trevor Bauer. So he's been making his rounds in the podcast world these last 2 weeks. He was on the PBD podcast. He was with Theo Vaughn on this past weekend. He's going to be on the Full Count podcast next week. I'm just kidding. But there's the open invitation. If you want to come and talk, we'd love to have you. But as I was saying, during these podcasts, he's been given his side of the story. He hasn't been able to say much these last 2 years due to legal restrictions. But for those that don't know, he's gone through some awful, awful, awful stuff. So he was targeted by a woman that was specifically trying to get money out of him. She accused him of of doing some stuff, which turned out to not to be true. And because of that, he was not only suspended by the league, he was cut by the Dodgers. He's been blackballed by the MLB, but he was blackballed at the prime of his career. In 2020, he won the Cy Young, signed with the Dodgers in 2021, did pretty well. He was a lot of fun to watch, did a lot of showboating. And then in the middle of 2021, this is when all this stuff happened. He was explaining during these podcasts that, hey, he deserves a chance to play. He even mentioned that he's willing to play for the league minimum, was at $790,000 just to prove himself. To me, these are the most dangerous players. The players that have a chip on their shoulder, that have something to prove when money's not an object, like I was saying with Kershaw earlier in this episode, that when you have somebody that has a goal to prove everybody wrong, you have to move out of the way. You have to take a chance on this person. And yeah, is there some kind of blowback? Will there be some backlash? Will it be kind of a bad image? Yeah, maybe. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not deserved. It was proven that he was innocent. There was no charges filed. He wasn't arrested. It was shown that he didn't deserve this whole mess that was thrown on him. So I think that Trevor Bauer should be in the league, deserves another chance. There's a lot of teams as we speak that could use his services. I would absolutely love to have him on the Dodgers. I know that's not going to happen because the Dodgers don't want to take that PR hit. They're a billion-dollar brand. They're not going to take the chance on that again. But the Angels need some pitching. The White Sox need some pitching. The Rockies. Hey, the Royals. Hey, why not? If the Royals are making all these moves, like I was saying, I'm so excited about the Royals. What's the risk here? It's a low. What would you say? It's a high reward, low risk on Trevor Bauer. I think somebody should take the chance on him and kind of take that PR hit, even though they know it really wasn't justified. Tell me what you guys think. Throw something in the comments. Is he a lot more deserving than Puig? Is he a lot more deserving than some of the players that we've seen recently that kind of been blackballed by the league? Let me know what you think. The previous episode with Andrew and Chris,
co-host Sway, who's handling baseball-only topics. I want to give him a shout-out because he's doing a good job.
I left a comment for Sway. Gave him some homework, so...
Chris had some questions that he wanted me to address on tonight's podcast. So I'm going to read his question. I'm going to answer it. So Chris asked, is there any hope for a rebuild for the Padres? Or is it just dark days ahead with no real leaders? Or should everyone just convert to a Dodger fan?
I feel like everybody just became a Dodgers fan. Would there be any pride or glory in being a Dodgers fan anymore? Would that ruin everything?
And here's what I got to say here. So unfortunately, I do think it's going to be bad for the Padres for a very long time. I've been going to Padres games a few times a year for the last a couple of years, since 2009, and I've never seen it as electric as it has been in the last 3 years. It brought San Diego to life. It gave them a charge. No pun intended, Charger fans. Fans actually attended the games, and they were loud. It goes to show that San Diego can be a great baseball city with a great baseball environment if they have all the pieces in place, which you guys did for the last 3 years, and it was awesome for baseball. That Dodgers-Padres rivalry is what we needed. Going to Padres games before as a Dodger fan, when the Dodgers would come to town, I would say it was 80% Dodger fans, 20% Padres fans. We took that stadium over. That's the same with everybody that used to visit them. If you were to go to a Giants game against the Padres, it's more Giants fans than Padres fans. But these last 3 years were different, and I've never seen it like that. And I think it was great. It was so much fun. I wouldn't go to these games wearing Dodger gear, but I just wanted to blend into the crowd. I had so much fun. It's a beautiful park. But I think like management has mismanaged this team. They haven't met expectations, and it sucks. But if the Padres can put something together where they can have a deep postseason run, I think it'd be great for baseball. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think the NL West is too competitive for the Padres right now. There's no way they're going to get up from under the Dodgers. There's no way they're going to get up from under the Diamondbacks. The Giants are going to bounce back as a big time franchise. They don't stay bad for too long. They're going to bounce back. The Padres are going to be basement dwellers for a while with the Rockies. You guys are going to be buddies there. And that's sad to say because it was fun for these past 3 years. But you also had another question. He said, how would I feel if everyone became a Dodger fan? Would there be any pride or glory being a Dodger fan after that? And I'll tell you, Chris, we want no part of that. We want no new fans from San Diego. The thing is, your fan base is great. I've seen the potential of that fan base and what it could be once you have a good team and you have a good team for several years. We don't need you guys. We would love to have another rivalry in addition to the Giants, but yeah, we don't want Dodger fans that were previous Padres fans to answer that question. But gosh, it would be great if you guys were good. It's been a lot of fun these last 3 years. But hey, that's all the time I have for tonight. If you have any more questions, comments, I keep saying this throughout the episode, throw them in the comments. We'll reply. It's been a lot of fun. I know these past few episodes has been me trying to get comfortable, just talking to myself out loud. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for bearing through or getting through this with me. But I appreciate you as I learn on this journey, and I'll see you next episode. Till then.